how this will always get you through lows on self improvement. Now, I remember the first 6 months when I started my self mastery journey around early summer of 2023. Dude, those were the 6 hardest months of the entire journey. Like, getting started, leveling up my discipline slowly but surely. My willpower was still at its weakest. My productivity, although it wasn't as bad, but it still needed to have some work done. And of course, my resiliency. Now, don't get me wrong, I wasn't weak by any means. I wasn't like a 3 out of 10 when it came to these skills. I was probably like 5 out of 10. And even now, I'm still like an 8 out of 10. And I still have a lot of to catch up to. But that still doesn't mean that I'm an undisciplined little prick that spends, I don't know, like 10 hours every single day scrolling through YouTube. No, no, no. I was never like any of those goblins that spends like hours every single day just scrolling through their TikTok homepage. I never did any of that. But still, when I got on that self mastery journey and I revoked myself from playing video games, and I still struggled with social media, and you know what? I still I still was putting in a lot of work, but I just had no idea where to put all of that effort into. I didn't have a clear skill that I wanted to level up so that I would get money in the future. I had no idea what exercises I should do to level up my physical health. Of course, I was doing healthy practices like meditation, gratitude journaling, regular journaling, waking up at 5 a.m., cold showers to improve my mental health, and of course, I started to heal my traumas and started to get more conversation topics so that I would be more interested in conversations. Sure, I was doing all of those things, but yet I just still felt like something was missing. And that was because I was getting no success in the first 6 months. It literally felt like I just didn't change anything and nothing was happening at all. It still felt like I was just the same person. And that went on for a really long ass time. But then, around December of 2023, it finally became clear. In November of 2023, I finally discovered my purpose in life, which gives me infinite fulfillment until today. I finally figured out what I actually want to talk about and what kind of exercises should I be doing because I put a lot of time into it. I finally got hold of myself and I started to practice journaling a lot more regularly because don't get because here's something interesting about me that I never told here in our library. I literally didn't journal until like the first 3 months of my self mastery journey. I just couldn't get myself. It wasn't that I couldn't get myself consistent on it, but I just had no idea of what I should actually write about, if that makes sense. But I finally got the hold of myself, and I managed to go after it. And yeah, of course, I spent a lot of time still figuring myself out. But around that time, I finally got clarity, and I finally got some muscle gains even. Like it just started happening so fucking fast, bro. You wouldn't even believe it. But what got me actually through all of these times? What actually got me through the first 6 months that would usually filter out like 99% of guys who get on to self improvement? What got me through the filter? What got me to wake up at 5 a.m., even when I was just on this path, just like 2 months in, barely even trusting the process? What got me to put all of that effort into research, into learning, into all of these things? What got me through all of this? Well, it wasn't anything material, believe it or not. It wasn't the body, it wasn't the money, it wasn't the relationships that I would get. It was one thing: the peace, the calmness, the serenity, and the happiness and the love that I got from realizing that I was finally on the right path, aka having the right mental attitude of the God frequency. Now, here's something that you must understand: God isn't some kind of an physical being or some kind of an ego that sits up there in the sky. No, bro. He's an he's a consciousness just like all of us. But he, unlike you and me, is infinite. And guess what? You can tap into his infinite power. You can tap into his all of the answers that he has about the world, because he's infinite. So he's everywhere and at any time at the same time, if that makes sense. So he has seen everything, he has experienced everything, and he knows everything. He knows everyone, he knows how to get this and this done. He knows everything. And the way that you tap yourself into his quote unquote library of infinite wisdom is by getting into the heavenly frequency, or what we call it heaven in the Bible. Now, heaven, of course, it isn't some kind of a physical location that you go after you die. That's just the exoteric meaning of it that they gave to peasants, so that the priests gave to peasants, so that they would externalize their power, so that they would never get rich. But that's a topic for a whole nother video. And plus, how do you know how heaven looks like if you've never been there? That's just our finite conceptualization of what the afterlife looks like. But how can you know how the afterlife looks like if your spirit passes on and your physical body ceases to exist? That's something that you should wrap your head around. We cannot understand God. That's like trying to put the entire ocean into a small water bottle. You can't. God is infinite and we are finite. That's why we cannot understand him. But still, we can leverage him just like electricity, just like gravity, just like nuclear power, if that makes sense. And we can leverage him by imagining ourselves in that desired reality that we seek, where we already have all the material things, but we have that one thing that always brought us all of this, that is the key to our success, that we can always rely on when life gets tough. And that thing is the kingdom of heaven, the peace, the calmness, the serenity, the happiness, the love, the joy, the enlightenment that we would feel once we achieve all of these things. We can feel it right now. And believe it or not, you can trick your subconscious mind into thinking that you have it right now, because you can visualize it. And then you can even go a step further, and you can, of course, go into huge amounts of details on how that visualization actually looks like. You can imagine your dream woman being over there, your dream house, your dream physique, your dream income, your dream car, if you want, and you can imagine yourself doing various amounts of activities. Yeah, even that activity, if that makes sense. But yeah, like, I don't know, swimming in the ocean, going boxing with the boys, I don't know, driving in your new Ferrari or whatever car you want. You can imagine yourself immersing in all of these details and imagine yourself being there in with all of the five senses and in a deep meditative state. But yeah, you can do all of that, and then all of those feelings that you would feel in there will be transferred into our reality. And then you can do something even more interesting, something even more overpowered. And you can say that fantasy that you've created, that visualization, is your reality. And the current reality that you're experiencing, that brings you the envy, the anger, the fear, your current one, is just an imagination of the one that you're feeling, of basically they're like the negative thoughts that you get in that dream reality. Isn't that just way too overpowered? And so from now on, you can always just say, whenever you get tested by life, whenever you see no results for months or even years, you can always just come back to this visualization whenever you need to, and always just say, I have something more valuable than money, than a woman, than the body, than the car, than the ocean, than whatever, because I have the kingdom of heaven, which refers to your mental state of mind, where you feel calm, serene, happy, full of love, full of happiness, because you already have all of those goals achieved. So you don't need to feel that gratification anymore. And you can imagine yourself literally being immersed in that pleasure that you finally deserve because you put in all of that effort. That's how this works. This is genuinely how you can get out of any kind of low, because you can get the feeling right Now, the only reason why you do anything, the only reason why I would want to finish recording this video is so that I can feel accomplished because I was productive for society. I was productive for my future self because this video will bring me a lot of income in the future. And not just that, but it also helps me refine my skills when it comes to teaching, which is my purpose in life. And bro, I felt the sense of accomplishment before I even stepped into this room where I record this video. And I just told myself that the negative thoughts that the video didn't get recorded yet was just a negative thought and a quote unquote demon that just wanted to infiltrate me because I already live in that desired reality. And that all of this is just an illusion. It is just a negative thought. Do you think that Jesus Christ would be able to resurrect someone if he was realistic? No, bro. He knew all of the esoteric meanings. He knew how to use everything to his advantage. He knew how to mold reality. So, this is how everyone gets rich. They don't look at it from the exoteric point of view, the outer circle, meaning in Greek. And like the 99% of people, they look at it from the 1% of people. The people from the esoteric, aka inner circle in Greece. That's just how this works. That's how you need to do this. And when you do this, all of the material things will just come to you. It's just an inevitability. And that's exactly what I knew all those months ago when I first started. And that carried me through the first month because I knew that I was on the right path. Of course, I didn't have a clear idea. That was just me adding more tips so you can make this even more overpowered than what I was already using it as all those 1.5 years ago. But still, even if you just live with the calmness that you are on the right path, you will still do a lot more for yourself. This is just something that you can leverage to the fullest. And you will not regret this whatsoever. This will genuinely carry you through any kind of hard time. And soon enough, you will genuinely just be just such a more happier person. And you would be surprised at how much of an rate all of the material rewards will come to you a lot faster. You will literally be astonished, my timeless reader. And don't just take this strategy from me. I've helped countless amounts of people in the past literally sharpen themselves in skills like discipline, willpower, resiliency, productivity, and get a hold of their own reality. And you can do this too inside of timeless readers' mindsets. It is truly something life-changing because it is a collection of 24 unbreakable mindsets that when applied to any kind of situation, they will truly just, oh boy, they will change your life for the better forever. They will always help you achieve success and pass through the life test like there's no tomorrow. They will always help you in the bad times. Thank you very much for watching this video, and remember, no one is better at being you